Hello, hello, hello. My name is Monty Holland. I'm the owner of the Tayion Collection. And today, I want to, send a special shout out to everybody out there in the world of fashion, because it's a special day in that we're going to have the first of what I hope to be many of what we're calling the Tayion Talks. And this one is being held in the actual House of Tayion. House of Tayion, H.O.T. It's hot. We're going to have fun. We're going to have hot topics. We're going to get into this thing and talk about what fashion means to you, what fashion means to all of us, and how it and how we deem fashion in our own particular day-to-day lives, and what types of impacts have we all experienced with regard to fashion on many levels. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, our own fashion, likes and dislikes. All right, so with that said, I want to kind of talk to you about my panel. My panel is made up of my loved ones. Sometimes it may not seem that way because we go back at it. We get at each other. I got my young fella, Avery, at the end there. He's 23 years old. He's a fireball. He really wants to get into the fashion world, and he's a hard worker. Yes, so we're going to get into his take on fashion. And then to my left here, I have my man, Kai. Kai is from New York. Hey. Kai's an entrepreneur. He's in real estate. And, he dubs himself as a true fashion guy. I call him a sportswear guy majority of the time, but he can get involved on the fashion tip. So I'm going to ask him some very deep questions and see if he can expound on those. And then to my right here, I have Darrell. D-Will, we like to call him. And he is another one of my mentees that has been in the Tayion fold since he was 17 years old. And now he lives out in Las Vegas. And I want to get his take on how fashion has made an impression in his life as well. So, absolutely. I'm going to throw this first question to my man, Kai.
Yes, sir.
Kai,
yes.
You are born and raised in the fashion mecca,
yes.
New York City.
Yes.
He is a true New Yorker who has since moved to Atlanta and started what I call his real estate empire. It's really impressive. He does a lot of impressive things. First time I've ever said that out loud, because we usually give each other, stabs and this, that, and the other. But I do have a question.
Yes,
you
sir.
Coming from New York,
yes,
and being a 80s, 90s type of cat,
right.
How do you feel fashion has helped you transition into the world of business?
Well, I'm glad you asked. In the beginning, it was always urban. It was the loose, baggy stuff and things like that, and it wasn't presentable. It's good as far as form and function from streetwear and stuff like that. But when you're trying to carry a meeting or get someone's attention or be able to have some doors open for you, or if you have to speak to a contractor, if you have to do anything in reference to the business side of things, you have to, be presentable. So for me, clean suit, a clean look, open up certain doors that at other times was closed.
Okay, so I want to make sure I understand what you're saying.
Right.
Are you saying that the sportswear looks aren't appropriate for those types of meetings, or are you just saying flat out that the dress look is more appropriate, or it just opens more doors and helps along with the process that much more?
Well, it opens more doors. I mean, the sportswear looks is fine, but when you start getting into investors, when you start having to sit in front of contractors, when you're doing, big ticket real estate, you sometimes have to take meetings. And the way you carry yourself, the way you present yourself, as everybody knows, it develops a persona, it develops an opinion.
Okay.
So if I walk through, there's business casual. If I come through with my style as business casual, it's not corporate, but it's also presentable. Clean, classic looks. And if I'm sitting down with somebody that I need to be an investor, if I'm asking you to invest $500,000 or $1 million, you're not just going to give it to somebody to come walking in there in a basketball sweatsuit.
For sure.
Right? So
sure. Typically.
It's definitely has had a situation for me as I've, been, going through and learning the process, coming from New York, coming from the streets of, urban wear and wearing certain type of fashion stuff. As I got older, more mature, and understanding the power of a suit, the power of wearing a button-up shirt. Shoot, look how I feel right now and what I got on now. I feel as we talking. Everybody here on this panel is clean, presentable, and anybody that's watching is going to look and say, wow, So before we even open our mouths, before we say anything, the first presentation and the first initial, connection, an opinion is drawn. So regardless of how much I might know the business of real estate or how intelligent I am in reference to it, I would have to actually talk to you. But in order to get that seat at the table to have that conversation, I got to get somebody to agree to, okay, I'll take a meeting with you.
You know what, and I can appreciate what you're saying. I love one of the things you just said. You mentioned power, gives you a sense of power. Now, a week or so ago, the Grammys were on, right. And I was watching the Grammys. I'm looking for that blowout performance.
Right.
And I want to pose this question to you. Avery, you're 23, correct?
Correct.
How do you feel about the baby's performance? Because he came out in the suit, and I was surprised, taken aback initially, because I really like him. You know, I'm an older guy, but I like him. I think he's an entertainer. And the minute he came out and was doing his thing in that suit, I was like, my man gonna be around a long time. Because not only was he relevant and he killed the performance, but he looked good. In fact, the other rapper that came out to join him, Lil Baby, I think his name was,
Right.
He had a suit on as well, and they killed it. So I was wondering, what's your take on that? And the reason why I attribute that to what Kai just said in terms of power is because television. It's a broad range. It went out to millions and millions of people. Right. And I thought to myself, that's one thing that'll never go out of style. I was impressed by it. He still stayed true to what he does, but he looked good while he was doing it. Yeah. So I thought instantly about what my young dog would think about that performance and that look. So I really want to know what your take is on that type of performance and how you think that's going to affect your generation in terms of how you dress moving forward.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it's a positive impact. I mean, because like you said, being clean like this, like we are sitting up here, I mean, it's timeless.
It's timeless.
And anybody's gonna see it and be like, oh, yo, that's a smooth piece you got on. So hopefully, I mean, that's the message that you get indirectly by them wearing the suit during the performance, being a rap, performance, urban style. You expect some streetwear stuff, some jeans, some high-end stuff, but, right. You get the suit, you get that timeless look, you're never gonna go out of style with that.
It's never gonna go out of style. So let me ask you, are you a suit guy? How do you feel as a 23-year-old when you step out on a date or just moving around, just having a good time? How do you feel when you have on a look like that, which I think is very appropriate for your age, versus, let's just call it, and there's no shade on any type of clothing, but sweats or jean in a t-shirt? Because I think that's cool, it's appropriate for a concert, going to the mall, on a date, obviously. Yeah. Is there a difference, or do you care, or do you just go all over the place with regard to your fashion?
Personally, you know me, I'm a fashion guy. So I'm from one end to the other spectrum to the other. So I love this, I appreciate this. Would I wear it on a date? It depends on the date. Depends where I'm stepping out to. But I feel like personally myself, the expression just of fashion in general, if you have that confidence, even if I have sweats on, I'm gonna rock it like I got a suit on, like I'm this clean, like everybody knows I'm this clean. So I'm gonna step out, with the confidence in that. And so, that's my stance on it.
Okay, so to that point, I want to pose this to you.
Sure.
Because you're you're an athlete.
Yep.
You're born and raised Detroit. You've moved around since I've known you.
Yep.
South Dakota, Kansas, now Las Vegas.
Yep.
Running a hotel.
Yep.
To his point, Avery's point, how do you feel having to wear suits to work versus when you get off work, doing your extracurricular types of things? Yep. How do you transition, and what types of dress do you feel most comfortable in? What type of fashion do you think is an extension of your personality at 30 years old?
Okay, so at 30 years old, and in my profession on what I do, suits is my number one thing. It's my number one go-to. Suit tie vest, and just bringing it all back when you guys talk about that power. A lot of people, when you think about the hospitality industry, which I'm in, they don't see a lot of blacks running a hotel. Right. And when you see that black running the hotel in a suit with a tie on, it's like their whole persona change on their whole attitude. It's oh wow, they go from having a problem to now they want to know who you really are.
Absolutely.
Okay, so let me take that a little bit further. Is it just a suit? Because a suit is a 2-button, blue, black, brown, gray, notch lapel suit. Or is it the type of suit you're wearing? You have a peak lapel, top stitch, a little contrast on the lapel, you know, a hot tie, a DB vest, shawl lapel. There's a lot going on there.
Right.
But it's not ostentatious. But it's certainly different from what I would deem traditional fashion.
Right.
So what do you say to that?
So when you talked about the personality of who you are and the type of suits that you wear, just like Avery said down there, you know, his fashion is from one end of the spectrum to another. It brings out my personality. So when I do put on my suits, and no matter what suit I put on, it's going to be tailored to fit me, and it's going to speak to my personality and who I am and what I'm coming out here to do. So when people see me and they look at me like, hey, can I talk to the manager? And I walk out, coat on, and they say, you know, all of a sudden that problem, it's in the back of their head now.
Right.
Now it's like, oh, are you really the manager?
Because you look like the
Because now I look like, you know, like, okay,
Yeah.
well, maybe let me scale back a little bit because I know this guy, like you said, Kai, earlier, it's all about people's perception of what they think. Now, if I had came out there with some scrubs on, you're like, oh, okay, I can go out there and talk to him. Yeah, but someone that has the suit on, they like, okay, hold on,
I got to come correct.
I have to come correct.
Okay, so with that in mind, Kyle, I want to come back to you.
Yes, sir.
Let's get real here, man. The young guys, I think they're being politically correct.
Yeah.
I want to dig into this thing. I want to dig into
Let's
Kyle.
do that. Let's do that.
So young fella just told me that, you know, he walks out and his suit speaks before he ever says a word, and sometimes he can extinguish issues before even saying anything because of the way he looks.
Right.
Tell me what that really means. What just happened when he walked out in this type of piece? The colors are coordinated, the details are impeccable. Tell me what it means, and then expound on how that can be translated in other arenas other than work, because you're an entrepreneur and you move around. So let's talk to me.
Well, what I take from what the young man said was that when somebody comes, they have an agenda, right? An agenda to get their problems resolved, right? So obviously they were talking to somebody prior to him when to ask for the next level up of management. But when he comes out, all of the playing and all the jokes and all the, you know, I can come any kind of way and get what I want, that went out the window. They look at him, they see professionalism, they see, like you said, it might not necessarily be the atypical corporate, but they see it put together. Mm-hmm. They see tailored, they see crispy, so they see intelligence. They see a person in command, person in control, right? Mm-hmm. So now all that nonsense that he was doing, that's out the window.
Okay.
That's out the window.
So
that's like relative to what I do in the doors and the people that I have to speak to, and to build off opposite of what he said. I feel best when I got a suit on. I'm going on a date. You know, I'm taking my lady out. I'm clean. I'm coming in front of the hostess and asking for my table. You know, I get treated differently. I get when the waiter or whoever's waiting on us, they're going to treat me differently. They're going to treat me as if I could possibly own the place.
Now, I will say that's something I've been trying to teach my young fellas for years.
You
So I am surprised that you went there, which is cool because you're 23. But I do know that there's a difference,
Yeah,
and I'd like to
absolutely.
talk about that. Yep. Tell me the difference between Avery when he pops out in a hot sweatsuit, because you're right, you are going to rock it your way. You're very unique in the way you rock all of your clothing. Mm-hmm. What's the difference from when you wear a hot sweatsuit and you don't have a piece like that on? Tell me how you feel when you go out to a situation with this type of sport gear on versus that type of gear on. What's the difference? How do you feel, and how do you feel people feel towards you when you rock a certain way?
So always, you had to take your hat off for this one?
Yeah,
Give it to him.
You had to take your hat off for this. Okay, all right.
I want to make sure I let it breathe a little bit.
Let it breathe a little bit?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
But no, I mean, I feel when I had that hot sweatsuit on, as you attested to my style, people are going to stop, they're going to look, they're going to be like, oh, I appreciate that. I like how he put that together.
Right.
But when I have this on, though, people are going to stop me and be like, hey, you look amazing. You know, I'm going to get that verbal interaction.
That actually happens?
Yeah, it happens all the time when I wear hot pieces like this. I wouldn't say all the time, but I mean, more times than not, it's going to happen.
Right.
So when I have these hot pieces on, I'm going to expect more interaction of people appreciating the style because, as we said before, and going to, attest to again, it's timeless.
Right.
Everybody's going to love it.
Oh, okay, so 30 years old, 23,
Yep.
certain age.
Certain age.
30 years old.
For sure.
I want to know of a real life interaction, without going into too much detail,
Okay. All right.
of when you put on a hot joint,
Okay.
to steal a phrase from Kyle, put on a hot joint,
Right.
and you know it's hot.
Okay.
You walk into a spot. How do you feel, and how do you think the people around you feel, and how do you know that they feel how you think they feel?
Right. So it all starts at home. When I'm putting my hot joint on and I'm putting it together,
Getting it right.
and I'm in the mirror, I'm getting him. I'm like, okay, I may be having my music on. I'm like, okay, it's time. Okay, let's make it happen.
Yeah.
And I see, even around like my group of friends, which I don't have many, but the group of friends that I do have or family members that I do hang out with, when they see it, they immediately like, oh, yo, I ain't know this was what we doing.
You set your guys up. You set your people up.
I'm setting my people up right away.
Set the
So
tone.
it made them even appreciate the whole. I mean, yeah, we can all wear jeans and Gucci
Right,
sneakers and whatever, but to put on a suit, a Tayion piece, it just brings a whole different structure of fashion to it. Because now it's like, oh, instead of those baggy jeans, it's like, oh, he got on a tailor-made suit. And anybody that knows about suits and getting them tailored, they know it's money behind that.
Absolutely.
They know
good point.
they know on that end, especially people that's in it, like, oh, it's fitting him right. He just don't have on no baggy suit. It's fitting him to the T. That's made for him.
Right.
It's like, okay,
Right.
that's different.
That's your
Okay,
look.
so again, I'm gonna bounce this off of you, Kyle. I'm gonna come to you.
Yeah.
Because I think the young fellas want to kind of play. They want to walk the line a little bit. I want to dig into it.
Yeah.
I want to dig into it.
Yeah.
So he said it starts at home. He's putting it together. He's laying it out.
Absolutely.
Number one, this is a two-parter for you.
Okay.
Number one, when you laying it out, putting it all together, talk to me about how that works. Putting it all together, because that is a skill, I believe. It's a talent.
Absolutely.
And is that something that is learned? Is that something that you're born with? Number one. Then number two, when you have it together and you know it's right, and you walk into a spot, that may maybe some celebs, there's some athletes, some actors, some big wigs.
Absolutely.
And you walk in the building.
Yeah.
What type of reaction are you used to getting, and what type of reaction do you expect? Both parts.
Okay.
Talk to me.
So when I'm putting it together, it could take a little while.
Okay.
Because you're gonna take 2, 3, 4, 5 shirts.
Right.
You're gonna try it on a couple of pants. You're gonna put one blazer on. So it's a process to get that one fit. That when you see it and you look in the mirror, you be like, oh, that's it.
That's it.
That's it.
That's it, yeah.
They ain't seen me. They ain't seen me tonight. They ain't gonna see me. None whatsoever. I don't care who in the room.
Period.
You understand?
Yeah,
I don't
okay.
care what celebrity, what star-studded event it is. I expect that when I walk in, that I expect it to get acknowledged. Because I know I took the time to put it together. I didn't just go and say, hey, this is all was on the rack, it was on the mannequin, I'm just gonna put on with the mannequin hat on. That's it. No, the pocket square that I chose, the cufflinks that I chose, down to the socks I chose, right? Everything that I choose is all about putting it together.
Right.
Right? Because based on the level of the event and the level of the fly that I'm feeling.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then that's going now my esteem is on fleek.
Right.
I'm hyped.
So you walk through the door. So you got the joint on, you walk through the door. You
Yeah.
just said acknowledge. What does that mean? Tell me what acknowledge means.
Well, basically, when I walk through the door, I expect a couple of peering eyes. I expect some peering eyes. I expect
peering?
Yeah, peering eyes. You know what I'm saying? Whether
You
it's
expect
I expect it. Whether it's a woman, and some brothers might hit you with that.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know
for
what I
sure.
mean? Because if I know what I'm looking at, because I do the same.
Yeah.
Even though I feel the way I feel, I can acknowledge another brother that might have a little flavor.
Right,
You know
like,
what I'm
okay,
saying?
I see you.
Because we both here.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
both here, so I got to acknowledge it. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's like us sitting here at this panel together. I look at you, okay, I see you. Yeah, all right.
Oh, yeah.
But I feel like I'm good. So what's up?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
I'm feeling good. So when I walk through the door, and I'm getting peering eyes, and I see people, now I'm like, okay, now I'm comfortable.
Yep.
I'm comfortable. Let's meet and greet.
Yeah.
Let me work the room. I feel comfortable. Unlike if I came in and I was caught slipping.
Oh, yeah.
You understand? I came in assuming that I could just come in with some buttercup outfit on, and I'm looking in the room and I see nice dresses and, mini drift dresses and all that and grease thighs and brothers, they all H.O.T.T and everything. Whoa, wait, whoa.
They
What
called
happened
me.
to me?
They called me slipping. I dropped the ball. But see, I make sure that never happens. That's what all about the preparation prior to walking out that door. So whether it's a date, whether it's the boardroom, whether I'm going into an event, whatever the case may be, I'm always making sure that I'm ready. That's why they say, all in the preparation. That's why it's good to have, with the man haberdashery aspect, have everything that you're supposed to have. And don't just wait until you have an event.
For sure.
To go and get something. You gotta have what you should have spread collar shirts. Right. You should have a couple of suits. You should have different colors. You should have hats, accessories, and yada yada. You know what I'm saying?
So I feel you. So I always tell my young guys, I always tell people, listen, man, you stay ready, you don't have to get ready. But even more importantly, I always say this. If you rock, I'm Tayion, so yes, I always say if you rock a hot Tayion joint, don't get caught slipping. Here's how you don't get caught slipping. Stay on top of your pieces, have the accessories that you need, have it properly tailored. But here's how I don't get caught slipping, because I've been caught slipping.
Right.
I've walked into places, just on a whim.
Yeah.
And like, yo. And I'm pretty objective in that I'm like, yo, my man clean.
Right.
My man clean, my
Right.
man hot. As a whole, yo, this is I should have came right. So I always say, whenever you go out and you want to make that statement, put on a joint that when no matter where you're going, you're top 5 in the building. I always say top 5 dead or alive. I don't care where I am.
Right.
I don't care where I am. I need to be top 5 dead or alive. Now, that's just to humble me saying that, but I really believe I'm in the top 3.
I say
You
top,
and me.
I say top 2.
Period.
And I'm not
two.
2.
So,
Yeah.
but I mean it. But I mean it.
Yeah.
And what I mean by that is I'm going to have the details right. It's going to be tailored properly.
Right.
The shirt, the tie, the hanky, the
Right.
little accessory,
Yes.
whatever, everything. To smell good.
Oh, yeah.
Everything. My shoes going to be
All part of
shined.
the preparation.
Everything's going to be right. So I feel
Yep.
that I'm top 5 in the building.
Yep.
I may not say a word, but you let the piece do all the talking before you utter a word. So that's what I always tell guys when I'm putting them together. And you can't just buy a piece and just think that the piece is going to do all the work, man. Right. You have to put some work in. Learn about it. Observe, see things. So okay, D. All right, D. You walking the line. You being politically correct, man. Listen, this is not PBS. This is not network television.
Tayion Talk.
This is Tayion Talk, man. You in the hot seat, House of Tayion, hot seat. Talk to me, man.
Yeah, let me
How
take that.
does
Let me
it
hear what you're saying.
affect you?
Let me make sure.
As a young brother, young handsome brother.
Let me
you
make
walk
sure I hear what you're
outside,
talking about.
You got the right Tayion joint on.
Right.
You're pulling up, the car's washed. You get out, you walk into your spot.
Right.
How do you think it affects how you're looked at by the opposite sex? Period. How do you feel, and what type of responses have you actually experienced?
Is he
Talk to
sweating?
the people.
Okay.
Is he sweating?
Is he sweating?
Oh,
He
no.
look
No,
hot.
Oh, this, I'm great. I'm great.
All right.
This is
Talk your
right
talk.
up. This is right up my alley because Tayion, I've called him on many occasions like, yo, that suit that you put me in, it did everything it was supposed to do, right?
Right.
So, anytime that I've been out and I did the preparation, I did the groundwork, right? We talk about put the shoes together,
Right.
put your socks,
Right.
put this with that.
Right.
Nah, don't rock that, or maybe give them something else another night. It always worked.
Always? You
Always.
100% in your Tayion joints.
And my Tayion joints, no lie, y'all hearing it first.
Perfect.
I ain't never lost in
Perfect
it.
execution.
I've never lost.
I've never lost.
Undefeated, all the way to the chip.
I'm
Perfect
undefeated
execution.
all the way to the chip. And that's even meaning. Even ones that I just turned down. Not saying that I had to do anything with. But when you talk about the looks to the what are you wearing, to how you smell, to that, it just spoke to me. So I just wanted to say something to you. I mean, everything. It was a winner. And when you talk about the top 5, I know I was number 1 in there.
Number one in the building.
Number 1 in the building. Number 1 in the building.
So Kyle, let me ask you this.
Just let me interject. One of the best compliments that you could get, especially wearing the Tayion pieces, when a brother comes and say, "Man, that's cold.
Yeah.
That's
Oh, yeah.
cold."
I love
what you
it.
got
Yeah.
on. That's cool. That's clean.
That's a cold joint.
Because a lot
yeah.
of times, you know, compliments, we want them from women.
For sure.
No
Of
doubt.
course,
for sure.
But you feel that respect when your peer come and say, yo, man, that's clean, fam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the fam, that's
Yeah.
clean.
What is that?
Yeah, exactly. Where's that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah.
So,
So I appreciate it, first
Yes,
of
sir.
all.
Yes, sir.
But I truly, truly, truly am humbled by it. But even more importantly, I'm passionate about making my people look good, period.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. You know that our crew,
hey,
we pop so much
hey,
stuff about who's wearing what, who won the
I got
award.
a story I want to share.
Okay, let me
I got
hear
a
it,
story
man.
I
Let's
wanna
hear the
share.
story.
This might be circa 2018. Circa 2018.
Pre-pandemic.
Pre-pandemic.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
We getting clean. We getting suited and booted. We about to go out in the night, you know, stretch out a little bit, right? We getting dressed. We do what we do. We getting prepared, got the socks, everything laid out, smell good, see what you got, compare, so on and so forth. So I'm in the room, let me go check on Mont, see what Mont talking about. Because, you know, you do that. You go see what your boy doing just to see if you got to level up. Because, you know, you trying, it's competitive. It's
course.
competitive. It's competitive. Competitive
Oh, yeah.
market.
Oh, yeah.
Competitive-
For sure.
competitive market.
Yeah.
I walk in the room, Mont, is that pink? That man putting on a pink suit? The man putting on a pink suit.
That's right.
I said, okay, it's out of my range.
Right.
Right? At first, it was out of my range. I couldn't comprehend, right? Because it's unconventional.
For sure.
Unconventional, right? We walking, right? Crowded. Standing room only on the sidewalks or both sides of the street. We walking. Do you know how many people stopped us to ask this man about that pink suit?
Yeah.
Ladies, one woman said, I don't know about a man in pink. But the whole time, she checking out his lapels, she checking his pocket squares out. She wouldn't stop talking.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a nurse. Remember, she said, I'm a nurse, so I'm a doctor. I'm a doctor, and such and such and such and such and but would not cut us loose from a conversation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So that
crazy.
I say that to say that sometimes it's how you put it together, and it might be unconventional, it might be outside of norm, it might be, but as long as you own it.
Oh yeah.
Because he owned it. You know, he Tayion, so he gonna own it. So me, I'm inspired.
Right.
I'm like, man, I might need to get me a pink
Pink
suit. I might need to get one now.
Hey, and not to cut you off, but a lot of people, especially in the industry that I'm in,
Yes, sir.
I want to look like that.
Yeah.
I want to put that on and rock it just like that.
Exactly. Because it's an art to it. You know, it's like he said, you can't just go grab a mannequin, and you can't just, like you see all these mannequins behind us, and they all fitted correctly, and they were put together by Tayion, right?
Yeah.
But even when you put it on yourself, you might have a twist or something that you add to it. You want to, you know, whether it's a different color pocket square that matches your personality or whatever the case may be, but the foundation got to be solid. So a Tayion suit gives you the foundation. You embellish as much as you can until you get that look, so you feel confident in how you move. And it also helps you how you move and circumvent within the room.
Oh, yeah.
Just like we all sitting here talking. Everybody's sitting here talking with confidence.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But if I was sitting here in a sweatsuit, I might be mumbles. I ain't got much to say because I feel like, man, I ain't up to par. You know, and I'm sitting here amongst men.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because if you're in a conversation, think about it. You walk in a room amongst men, right?
Right.
You got two different types of men, right? You got men that's put together, that's perceived put together, and then you got men that you like, I got to figure this guy out. I want to be a part of the perceived. I want to be perceived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So even, you know, just piggybacking on everything that's everybody's saying. Like when you walked in and you was number one, and me and you was talking all the time, right?
Right.
The other day, so the last couple of days, I said, what I said, I'm either what?
You're either
First or I'm last.
Or I'm last. That's it.
I ain't trying to be last. Ain't no in between. Ain't no in between. So if I walk in the room and I ain't put together, I'm coming in last. I know it. But I know it. I know it. But if I'm put together,
Oh yeah.
I'm feeling I'm number one.
So-
I'm first in class.
So let me just ask this to the whole panel and just kind of chime in. I know that everything is not for everybody.
Right.
I understand that.
Right.
Okay.
May not be your cup of tea, this type of look. I hear all the time, that's hot, but I don't know if I can pull that off. That's a whole nother question that I'll jump into in a little bit. But because we're going to be launching and the largest retailer in the world, Macy's, here in a matter of weeks, and Men's Warehouse simultaneously. First of all, it's a wonderful opportunity, and I'm blessed, and I appreciate it.
Congratulations.
But thank you so much, appreciate it. But here's my question. I always ask you when I'm talking to you guys about looks. I always say, you, 23-year-old, you're in the mall on a Saturday. You're walking through with your girl, with your dudes, with your brother. How do I get you to stop and engage that mannequin or engage that piece? What would make you stop? You ain't gotta buy it.
Yeah.
But engaging it lets me know, oh man, this kind of hot. I know you may think about it, you may come back. I always ask my dogs in New York, Mo and Ty, because I deem those two guys as two of the most
very
fashion-conscious guys. And they're different. They're fashion-forward. They're always on trend.
Absolutely.
But they have different looks.
Right.
They're a little bit more traditional than me, but still very fashion-forward with their looks.
Right.
So I always ask them, I say, listen, man, I know you guys like high-end, I know you guys like custom, but I want to know, how do I get that guy? You too.
Right.
You're a custom dude. Now, let's be real.
Right.
You look custom shoes, the whole deal. So I say, yo, how do I get you guys to, if you're walking through Macy's, you might pop in and get you a shirt or some socks or whatever.
Right.
You see it. How does it make you stop, engage it, touch it, look it, feel it? Oh, God forbid. Hopefully, I'm rocking this, and you take it to the register and purchase it.
Absolutely.
How do I get that guy? You know what I mean?
Right.
How do I get that guy? So I say that, and I want to know, how do we do it?
Well, in my opinion, a lot of times, especially when you're in a men's showroom as far as Macy's or a department store, it's that initial knee-jerk reaction when you see something that can be classic, something that you know you could do something with, something that has some type of versatility to it. A lot of times you see certain things and it has that European feel to it, but you can't do nothing with it. I only can wear this one time. If I get that, I only can wear it one time. And then you want the feel of the textures and the garments and how it's, I'm 6'5".
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So a lot of times when I walk up in the store, I'm already anticipating I can't fit half what's in there, right? But to know that I can go into a Tayion collection and say, that's gonna fit me. I don't have to get but so much done to it. Now, it's going to have durability. It's going to last the test of time, and it's going to be a classic piece. And that I can dress it up, I can dress it down, I can use it in all type of ways. So for me as a consumer, when I walk in and I see something on the mannequin, you know, I want the mannequin to kind of look like how I would look prior to me accessorizing, prior to me, you know, trying to put little different twists on it. A lot of times when you go in, is very old school bland. Right. You know what I mean? You look at the mannequins, when you look at the sections of certain designers and how they put their suits and men haberdashery together, it's very, very bland, very common, very 10 people gonna look exactly like I'm gonna look. Right. Opposed to having that type of flair and that type of je ne sais quoi, when you look at it, that it's appealing to me, like you the knee-jerk, like these mannequins behind me. Like, look at this. I see the pick stitching, you see the colors. I walk past, I see that's it.
This would make you stop and engage.
Let me check it out. I like this pattern.
Okay.
I like the buttons. Feels good, the texture's good, see pick stick. Yeah, let me check this out. Let me see. I'll go from that to look and see if y'all got my size. Yeah. Because it brings you in, especially for a person that's tall, you know, and has some size to them. Then the next thing is, do you carry sizes? A lot of brands do not, they say big and tall, but tall is not part of the category.
Obviously, we make sure that we can fit.
That's why I love Tayion Collection, because I know that I can get what I need tailored, and it's gonna fit me. Like, look.
Ah, okay. That's a bad boy. That's a bad boy.
Hey, let him see it. Let him see that half belt. Let him see it all. Let him see it all.
What we talking about?
Absolutely. And that's the feel I'm talking about. After you take your time and prepare yourself and put yourself together, you walking around and strutting around in your room before you go anywhere.
Right.
You understand? That's the feel I want. So when I walk into a department store and I see something that, hey man, that caught my eye. I want that strut I just did. I want it to give me that vibe when I'm putting myself together. And that's what you see behind us. You see that classic, some contemporary, some a little fashion forward. You get a little bit of everything with the Tayion collection. Right. And that's like your fit. Very classic, little contemporary. You see, so you know you're gonna get that variety, and that variety is what will draw me to spend.
And that's a great transition, because I want to say this. So Avery, I'm going to pose this to you.
Yep, go ahead.
What he just said was exactly what this new collection that's going to go into Macy's and Men's Warehouse is. It's a collection that is interchangeable. What does that mean? Piece A can go with piece B. People won't even know that this jacket and vest actually goes with a different suit.
Right.
All right? This pant goes to another suit, but they are intentionally designed in such a way that it goes with one another. Your jacket has a pant to it, but guess what you can rock it with? A jean.
Right.
All right? Your suit, beautiful, but you rock it with a sneaker, but you can also wear it with the white pant.
Yeah.
So I intentionally made it in such a way that it can be interchangeable. Is that something that would excite a 23-year-old?
Now, that's something I personally look for. Like, similar how he was saying, when I'm walking through the mall, I like seeing different. I like seeing myself in that piece and knowing I'm gonna stand out. I mean, I got the blonde hair going, everything. I'm gonna stand out regardless.
Right.
But I want what I'm in to do that same feel, that same effect. When people see it, they're like, oh, I like that. I don't know if I can do that. Or, dang, I want to do it just like him.
Right.
And, take it to that next level. So that's why I love the interchangeable piece, too, because you can take piece A and put it with piece B. Now you got a whole different look. And I can play.
Stretch your dollar, stretch your wardrobe.
Yeah,
the whole
stretch
deal.
it so many different ways and just taking it to an artistic side.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
limitless.
that category.
It
Teaches
is.
you how to style it.
Yep.
How about you? What are your thoughts on pieces being able to make you stop and engage and look and say, yo, I'm getting this. I need that. And then come back a week later and say, I'm getting this because it rocks with that I got a couple of weeks ago. Is that something you ever done?
That's something, and you know me better than most. I always look for that look, something that I can switch off and on, and don't have to be the matchy type. I've never been a matchy guy. Matchy is cool, but it's never been like me.
Right.
So when I see that piece and I can transform into a whole new outfit, and people think that it's like, dang, is that a whole new joint? And you be like, well, to you it may be, but we know, like, yo,
I pulled that off.
I just pulled that off. And people like, yo, and us behind closed doors, we like, hey, you really did that. That was
That's a good
sweet.
look. Yeah.
I mean, and that comes from, me working in hospitality. If I want to pop off, I live in Vegas, so I want to go hit the strip, okay? I got on the jacket. I'm popping my tie off, maybe changing my pants, same joint, but it looks totally different. Wasn't you just at work?
A whole
nother look.
Whole nother look.
I'm in that relaxed state, but I'm still clean, classy,
Right.
and people still respect it.
Right, exactly.
So when you talk about that transitional piece, that's exactly what I look for.
Absolutely.
So Kyle, we're all former athletes. We all play. We all had that competitiveness in us. And I always tell my young dog, man, this is my new hoop. So I like to go hard. I like to compete. You're from New York,
Right.
the mecca, in my opinion, of the brand, the fashion, world. Can we compete? Why? And have you done it in New York and knocked their socks off and been top 5 in the building
Oh yeah, absolutely.
with your joints on?
Oh, absolutely. It's 19.6, 19.8 million people in New York. So you're going to have such a variety and so many gentlemen that's doing haberdashery or that's doing urban wear or that's doing different type of stuff. So you have to have a game plan. You have to be able to be different but yet the same. You got to be able to walk into a room and fashion has played a big component. So playing sports, you got that walk in. When you see them walking through the tunnel, you want that look. You know what I mean? If somebody they're paying you to play, you want to look the part.
Oh yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Not only that, fashion is in such a transition, and it happens from when you're a certain age. If I had this knowledge of haberdashery and tailored clothing when I was younger, I might have skipped a level. I might have skipped a level. I wouldn't have walked the whole thing. I'd have skipped.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because I'd have knew better. I'd have knew that, hey, I put this on, could you figure the biggest thing with anything that you're doing, it's like, how do I get someone to give me an opportunity?
Oh, yeah.
So even as we play sports, whatever sports is your thing, you know that you work on your game to put together your craft to such a level that you want the coach to give you an opportunity.
Right.
You want to make the starting 5. You want to be on the court. You want to be a part of making the ship move forward and along for the ride. Well, the same thing with fashion, the same thing with clothes. Same thing. That's just like if when I was in college, if I was wearing a certain things, I think that B- might have been an A+, just because of
100%.
presentation. You get things. So in New York City, yes, it's very competitive. You know, we just known for the Timberlands, you know, the home of the Timberlands. However, clean haberdashery, clean suits, you're walking down Park Avenue, just like you walking into Louis Vuitton, you walking into any of these high-end stores with the Tayion collection, you ain't gonna get stopped like they do if you had on urban wear.
Yeah.
You're not gonna be
Beautiful.
assumed to not be other than what you are.
So, and that's a great point. So as we wrap here, because you know our first session of the Tayion Talk in the House of Tayion was certainly hot.
Yes,
but I
indeed.
want to ask this last question here before we wrap.
Yes.
We're obviously coming out of an unprecedented time. Nobody ever thought that we'd be talking pandemics and you know, we've been working from home and not going outside and not moving around as we always like to say.
Right.
How do you feel, and just take 10 seconds each to kind of answer this question. How do you feel that's going to affect fashion? Will fashion come back? Will this type of look come back? Or is it dead forever like I've heard people actually say? Will people get back to a place that they want to come outside and be clean and be top 5 in the building again? I'll give you a couple of seconds, then I'll kind of wrap.
Absolutely.
At the end. Let's see.
So yeah, not making it too long, but I believe that the fashion is not dead because fashion is an art. Fashion makes people feel good. Everybody likes feeling good. So when things open up, as we start to see it is, even in Vegas, I mean, places are becoming 50% capacity, and people want to get outside more. The weather is turning nicer. You know, we got the summer months coming. So now that we're hitting the summer months and things are opening back up, people are going to start to pop back out, and they want to put on these pieces that's going to make them feel like, hey, I ain't left the building. I'm still here.
Good point.
I'm still here.
You know what? I'm going to come to you now, young fella. How do you think this pandemic is going to affect fashion in your eyes?
Yep. In my eyes, I feel like the pandemic is just going to open up the fashion world to be a little just more free. Everyone's just going to be just happy to be out. And then once that sort of lulls off, they're going to be like, oh, you know, I need to get back to what, you know, I'm used to being, you know, the cleanest and things like that. And, you know, really stepping out and putting pieces together and really trying to, you know, step on the competition's neck, you know, and try,
step on the neck. It's okay.
step on the neck, yeah, you know, and try and, you know, compete within one another and things like that.
Yeah.
So I think after a while, you know, it's going to be back to normal. I think this is going to be better than ever since we had this period of, you know, just relaxing at home and things like that.
Okay, beautiful. So, Kyle, let me hear what you have to say about how you think the pandemic.
Let me tell you, I'm glad you asked.
Talk to me.
Because
Talk
my
to
closet got COVID fatigue. You understand? I'm tired of dressing up in the room. I got some pieces that I done picked up. You know it.
For
'cause
sure.
I done got it from you.
For sure.
I can't
Yeah.
wait to, man, let me stretch out.
Oh, yeah.
You know, our
Beautiful.
COVID has definitely put everybody on alert, but as far as the creative minds and creativity as far as fashion concerned about getting dressed, men and women, we have COVID fatigue. I mean, we've been cooped up in the house. We've been looking at these nice pieces. We've been looking at these nice shoes. We done spent a year inside. We done ordered all kind of shoes. You know, ordered all kind of accessories. You got your suits. You got your dresses. You know, all these type of things. So when things do clear up and we are able to go back to a sense of normalcy, I think that fashion is just going to explode. It's going to explode.
I want to chime in right there. And all you guys had great points as it relates to the pandemic on fashion. But here's how I know it's going to, like you just said, explode. Because like you said, and like you all said about things opening up and things getting a little bit better, light at the end of the tunnel, but our internet has quadrupled. With guys buying pieces, hoarding pieces. So I know for a fact that the true fashion person is hoarding hot pieces, putting it together, saying to themselves, or out loud, I don't know, I can't wait to go outside and bust their heads and be top 5 in the building. I know it because we're doing it and we're selling it, and guys are still coming to the showroom and saying, oh my God, give me that, I need that. So I know it, I see it, and it's just reason for us all to have our heads held high and have confidence that this thing is going to come to an end in relative short order, and we will be back out there competing again in short order. And we got to be top 5 in the building no matter where we go, period. So with that, guys, I appreciate you guys, man. We're going to do this again soon. And it was fun, man. I enjoyed this.
I appreciate it.
Let's do it. Tayion out. Peace.